What is considered cute when done by a kid, but illegal when done by an adult? When I was 5 or so I went to a baseball game with my dad, and he wouldn't let me get popcorn. I really wanted popcorn. I walked away and sat on a random man's lap plus started eating his popcorn. I closed my eyes and pretended like I thought it was my father, like, "Oh dad, you got popcorn, thanks," because my child mind thought my dad would believe I thought it was him and wouldn't get mad. I don't think that would be very cute as a 21-year-old. Saying they want to marry their mum or dad. Yikes. As Ray Romano said, when your kid discovers he can get an erection for the first time and runs out of the bathtub going pee pee big. Pee pee big. It is cute and all. When grandpa does it, it is sad and disturbing. But grandpa has more reason to be happy. My friend, when he was just crawling apparently, was at a beach with his mum. She looked away for a second, and he'd crawled over to a nearby topless sunbather sleeping on her back, and tried to suckle on her. Obviously she screamed, and it didn't get far, but after much embarrassment they did all laugh it off. As an adult? That's probably prison time. Even as a literal baby it could have been much worse depending on the woman's response. Taking shortcuts through PPLS yards. Those were the days. My mom always loved to tell how, when I was first being potty trained, when I had to go number 2, I would pull my pants down in the living room, before trotting to use the toilet, pants around ankles. Something tells me it won't go over as well now. My 3-year-old ran up to a large man with a shirt too small for his body at a BBQ joint in Chicago, and gave him a big hug. He thought it was cute, and he walked away. When I asked her why she hugged him, she told me, so I could lick him. She licked the man's underbelly. I remember when I first moved to my new house, one of my neighbors who had autism somehow broke into my house and started looking around. The next day he apologized and said to me he looked cute doing it as a kid, but now he is 17, it's just scary. Edit: I forgot to say that his dad was the one who apologized. Oops. My 3-year-old was being potty trained at the time and I took him to McDonald's after his vaccinations to cheer him up. He had a great time until he announced to me that he wet himself. So I go to my bag to get a change of trousers and pants to hear people laughing, and I look up from my bag. He dropped his trousers and pants to the floor and was shuffling to the bathroom door with them around his ankles with a big grin on his face. Just his little butt exposed. I couldn't even be embarrassed, it was too funny. I can identify. Earlier this year, not too long after my secondary just turned 3, we were hanging out at a playground about half a mile from the house that we'd walked to. He decided he suddenly had to pee, and since I was sitting there nursing a newborn and there weren't any bathrooms around, I brilliantly told him to just go pee on the tree. Which wouldn't have been too bad, but he managed to pee on his pants. So he yanked off everything below the waist and went streaking down the hill this playground was on because his brother and sister were there getting a drink of water and God knows, 3-year-olds. And I couldn't just get up and run after him because of the newborn and being not even 6 weeks out of section. I had to holler for his siblings to intercept him and bring him back as I was very laboriously getting up and rearranging things. Sit on people's laps. Demand to be picked up. Not sure if this really answers the question, but I work in an elementary school, and one day a group of 7-year-old girls ran up to me at recess asking if they could go bye-bye. I said sure, and they jumped onto the ground and pretended to sleep. A few minutes later they run up to me asking if they could come, and I just stood there processing for a minute. I didn't need 7-year-old girls running around saying Mr. said we can come. So I sent them to their primary teacher. I guess it won't be illegal for an adult to ask to come, but I sure as hell would be creeped out. My toddler too once ran around our house naked, sat in my lap, took a shit and left. Does that count? Was cute until she shit. Then it was funny after I calmed down. My 2-year-old daughter smacked a random lady's booty at the grocery store because she sees me do that to her mom at home. It was funny, but if she was 16 years older, that might be sexual assault. There's an 8-year gap between my next sibling and me, plus no cousins close to my age either, so I was everyone's favorite to teach. Some of it was to go hit the other sibling or cousin because they couldn't react to me without getting in trouble. Other lessons I learned was grabbing butts. In the grocery store with my mom, I wandered over to a bent over lady and grabbed her butt. She spun around ready to punch someone, but theirs was noon there to punch, until she looked down, saw me, and died laughing when she saw a 4 years old. My mom was horrified. 11 years later I was horrified when my junior high science teacher asked me if I still grabbed lady butts while here shopping for vegetables. Turns out she remembered me, which isn't all that shocking considering my hometown is 3,000 people, and I was one of 3 mixed children that lived there. When I was little we lived in an area where people were pretty casual about clothing on the beach. Apparently when I was really little I went up to some random lady on the beach, climbed into her lap, and started trying to nurse. Sure as hell can't get away with that anymore. My 2-year-old stroked a flight attendant's behind with both hands as she was shifting something in the overhead bin next to our seat. Her skirt was very tight fitting, right in front of his face, and I guess he just thought it looked nice to touch. She whipped her head around at light speed with a glare, to send the offender up in flames. When she saw it was just a toddler and I apologized, she looked relieved and laughed. The way she reacted, though, made me think she probably has that happen way too often by grown gross dudes. Kissing other kids on the cheek when they didn't technically consent. Oh, to me like San. How cute. V's bro, who TF are you? I envy my kid for this. One day we were going on vacation to visit family. At the airport someone asked him what he was going to do, where we were going. He had a little bit of a confused look for half a second and then, very matter-of-factly said, "Whatever I want," in a tone like the person asked a stupid question. I think about that every day. He also pointed to a group of seniors off the bus from the nursing home in a field trip to some Blue Plate special restaurant and proclaimed, "Dad, look at all those almost dead people." One time when I was little, early 2000s, I accidentally faxed a picture of Geodude from Pokemon to the police from my grandma's fax machine. The picture was still in there, because my grandma made copies of all my drawings, and I thought the fax machine was a phone, so I tried to call 911. In the end, I dialed the police, and sent them a picture of Geodude with zero context. My grandma wasn't happy about it, LMAO. Thank you for watching. Please consider giving this video a like, and remember to subscribe, and hit that bell button, as we add new Reddit readouts every day. See you next time. Bye.